What is up? What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Crypto FUD. Happy Friday. Let's jump right into this, guys. All right. Wow. What is going on in the markets today? We're going to cover everything from yesterday's drop to what's going on today. And I am going to show you why I personally think that what we're seeing right now is basically just a fake out for the most part. And we're most likely going to keep moving on. Well past this. Next week, we'll probably forget about it. So welcome, guys. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. It is Friday, bro. It's Friday. You made it through the whole week. We're good to go here. We're good to go. Bill, what's going on? What is going on, buddy? So let's just jump right into this, guys. I'm not going to take up much of your time today because I know you guys are busy out there grinding, getting your money. Let's just go over this. And like I said, let's go over some things and let me explain to you and show you why I personally think that majority of this drop is going to be short-lived and why I would probably consider this a fake out. So right now, Bitcoin's sitting at around 118,248. You can see since that drop from yesterday, we really haven't recovered much. We looked like we were going to see a nice little bounce, a potential V-shaped recovery, but we never really got it, right? We ran up after this drop down to about 117.1. We ran up to about 119.2. Great. $2,000 move right there. Looked great. And you can see we kind of were consolidating. And I was like, you know what? This is great. We're probably going to, wake up tomorrow and we'll probably start taking off, getting back into those 120s. Well, it looks like we continue to move towards the downside. Why are we doing this? What happened? Well, it looks like we came back down to about 117.6 and we currently are sitting at around 118,000 as we speak. Ethereum, kind of the same scenario. But still looking very, very bullish. Obviously, Bitcoin's still looking very bullish as well. But I want to pull up the daily on Ethereum real quick and just show you guys some key metrics here on why we're really not too worried about Ethereum either. So Ethereum right now is sitting at around 4,566. You can see just a beautiful move towards the upside. Obviously, that's what we've seen. We ran up. We've tested this 4780 area twice. Then obviously yesterday getting rejected. But if you notice, even looking at the daily, Ethereum did not take a hit like Bitcoin did yesterday. It did drop down to about 4,450. But I mean, think about that. We saw a drop yesterday in the whole market, and Ethereum dropped down to $4,400. Just if I was to tell you this a week ago, you would be like, bro, that's so bullish, right? And it is 100% very bullish. Looking at the daily, I know there's a lot of red lines on this chart. These three lines up here are basically, I just added these these are going to be support and resistance levels now that we've broken up above some levels. But this yellow line right here is that 4,100 area that I said we needed to hold, which check we have. Down here, all the way down here at 3,700 is the 236 fib for Ethereum, which is fantastic. We're nowhere even near there. We haven't even come back to retest, which is fantastic. And literally the top of this fib is all-time highs, right? So if you really look at from the drop that we saw yesterday and today, we're about 7% away from all-time highs. People, that's nothing. That is nothing. That's a good day for Ethereum. The point of what I'm getting to is the markets. This was a little small drop. In my opinion, I'm going to explain to you and show you why I think this was a fake out. And it really wasn't that big of a move towards the downside. And if anything, there was some good buys to add to your bag if you are on the same boat as I am as far as this 4-year cycle, right? Still do believe this 4-year cycle is going to play out not exact, but pretty close to where we have pretty much these next few months where we're going to top out at some point. And it's crazy because on this channel, we've been talking about this for the last year. We've been literally talking about this 4-year cycle for the last year while everybody else, and I'm not, dogging anybody, but everybody else, where most people were basically telling you that everything was different, and now there's never going to be a drop again, and this is it. Bitcoin's just going to keep moving. We're just going to keep going. There's never going to be any kind of drops. And I'm sitting there watching some of this stuff, and I'm like, bro, there's no way. We haven't unproven the 4-year cycle yet. Now, if we're going into 2026, and Bitcoin is just, we're at $200,000 Bitcoin, and we're just still running, I'll say, okay, you know what? I was completely wrong. 4-year cycle, it's done. We're just going to stay bullish forever now, which is a good thing to be wrong about, right? Because I would love that scenario 100%. But at the same time, definitely preparing for that 4-year cycle top towards the end of this year. Like I said, maybe going into 2026. So we'll see how this plays out. But like I said, for the most part, Ethereum looking great. Bitcoin having problems right now to stay above that 118,000. And looking at the rest of the market right now, you can see, obviously, we have some decent movers like Arrow's up about 6%. What is this? Mantle up 3.5%. Leo token 4%. Pendle, these are the top 100s, up slightly. And we have Ton and Pump. Hyperlink, not doing too bad, up about 3.5 or 3.9%. But the rest of the market is down, right? Obviously, from yesterday. ADA actually up about 1.5% as well. But the rest of the market obviously is down, but nothing crazy. Like I said, we're not seeing these 20, 30%, wicks that are just liquidating everything. It looks like everybody, for the most part, staying pretty bullish. If anything, a lot of people like myself yesterday, we saw the dip, I let it dip, and I just started, adding to my bag, even at higher levels than I initially was buying on some of my projects, only because I know where we're headed. Right? So why wouldn't I, if I can buy right now at a 10-15% dip, why not take advantage of it before we actually, start ripping again? And one of these rips, I'm telling you guys, we're not coming back down for a while, is how it's going to work. So what is going on, guys? Let's pull it up real quick. Let me just jump in the chat. Manny's in the house. What's going on, bro? Craig, Owen, Bill said whale games for days. Old, what's going on, brother? What is going on, dude? So what is going on? Well, let's jump into this real quick. We kind of talked about this yesterday, and what's crazy is when it was happening live. If you guys remember, you probably don't, because I was like, wait a minute, didn't I bring that up? And I didn't even acknowledge it. We were on Twitter, and if you guys remember, it was live yesterday. Bassett, I'm like, Bassett says that the government's not going to buy Bitcoin for the crypto reserve, and I'm like, I just kept it moving. I was like, what is that, And then after the fact, I'm like, oh, crap. That was a big story right there that was happening live that I literally just kind of like brushed by because of the PPI report yesterday that we were covering. But you can see we're going to cover this, and then we're going to cover something else right after this real quick that's going to be bullish about this. So Bitcoin sinks following hotter than expected inflation print. Bassett comments on strategic reserves. So as of yesterday, you guys remember, we talked about this PPI report. Basically, if in a nutshell, PPI report's basically like the CPI report, inflation, right? But this is tracking what the actual retailers are paying for goods, right? Not what the consumers are paying, right? Consumers are going to be your CPI, and your PPI are going to be your retail, what they're paying for their goods. And it came in pretty hot, right? You can't even say that it didn't. It was expected to come in at 0.02. It came in at 0.09, which is basically almost a 5 times increase on certain goods, right? So it scared the market. We saw a sell-off. But on top of that, we had your boy Bassett coming out, and he was basically, he was on Fox News basically stating that the government had no intentions on buying Bitcoin for its strategic reserve. So let's just read here. So Bitcoin retreated almost 2% on Friday from its record highs on Thursday after hotter than expected inflation soared expectations of a large rate cut in September. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bassett signaled that the U.S. won't be purchasing Bitcoin for its strategic reserve. I think that's really was like the nail in the coffin for yesterday, and why we still today, unfortunately, haven't seen that V-shaped recovery yet, right? No, on Wednesday, Bitcoin touched an all-time high. We already know that, running past 23,500 per token. It actually went up to 24,000, I think, 3, in anticipation of a looser monetary policy and corporate purchases. Crypto rolled over after July's producer price index, the PPI, came in much higher than expected. So we already talked about all that. During the interview, the Fox Business, Bassett said the U.S. reserves of Bitcoin amounted to around 15 to 20 billion. We talked about that yesterday. And I quote from Bassett, "We've also started to get into the 21st century. A Bitcoin strategic reserve, we're not going to be buying that, but we are going to use confiscated assets and continue to build that up." So pretty much what he means is that, obviously the U.S. government actually is one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin, right? But it's been through seized assets. We already all know about that, Silk Road and a lot of other big or not hacks, but I guess stolen Bitcoin that's happened in the recent past, coming up to about $10 to $20 billion that they've been able to retrieve of Bitcoin. Well, the U.S. government holds it. So what he's saying is basically they're going to be using what they're holding and just putting that into the strategic reserve. Well, the market didn't really like that, right? They're like, well, we're already holding that. That's great. Obviously it's a lot better than you guys selling it off, right? But a strategic reserve, we were hearing that, that the government was going to be adding. Remember Loomis, that they were wanting to add, I think it was like a certain amount of Bitcoin yearly up until like 2030, and the number that their total of what they were looking for was a big number. What's going on with that? And the market, I think, kind of was like, dude, this isn't great. You started seeing the bigger whales selling off. But we jumped to today, and it looks like on this article, Bassett, which was the guy talking yesterday, backtracks and says Treasury committed to exploring budget-neutral pathways to add Bitcoin, right? So this is big here. So, and I say this because you have to remember this government that we have right now in the White House, whether you like them or you don't, they're very pro-crypto. And I told you guys this, Trump wants the markets to do great while he's in office, period, right? That's like that's the way he kind of he looks at it, as how excuse me, I got like a brain fart here, but he looks at it as how the economy is doing, right? The S&P's making all-time highs, the Nasdaq's making all-time highs, Bitcoin's making all-time highs. He looks at it as, hell yeah, people are making money. Great. Especially if you're invested, right? Remember, we're not going to get political. I don't care who you believe in or I don't care about all that stuff. We're just here for the investments. So the point I'm getting to is they saw the reaction yesterday. It didn't look good, right? So now you have Bassett coming back out and basically saying, whoa, hold on. Well, we're going to be exploring budget-neutral pathways to add Bitcoin, right? We're going to be adding Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, yeah, maybe we don't have plans right now to purchase Bitcoin, but that could change, right? It's basically what he's saying. Let's read through this. So, Treasury Secretary Scott Bassett confirmed the government may still expand its Bitcoin holdings. This was as of yesterday, later in the day yesterday. Backtracking remarks made a few hours earlier. Bassett had told reporters during the television interview in the morning that the strategic Bitcoin reserve would remain at its current level. He said the reserve would consist of approximately 15 to 20 billion in Bitcoin that the government already controls, most of which was seized in criminal cases. Bassett also indicated that there was no active plans to purchase more Bitcoin for the reserve. However, later in that day, he posted on social media after Bitcoin particularly started to take a shit. He posted on social media that Treasury remained committed to exploring budget-neutral pathways to add to the reserve, reframing the government's previously known stance towards accumulation. Bassett did not clarify what the budget-neutral strategy might look like. In fiscal policy, that typically means, finding a way to fund purchases without increasing the federal deficit, such as liquidating other assets, reallocating existing appropriations, or creating revenue streams to offset the costs. So you hear that. Regardless of however they're going to get the means, it sounds like what they're saying is they're still looking to add to the strategic reserve, and that's what we want to see. That's exactly what we want to see. So the strategic Bitcoin reserve was established in March through an executive order signed by Trump, and it's part of a broader White House effort to integrate digital assets into the U.S. financial strategy. Let's see here. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else part of that. I mean, that's pretty much the big thing right there, is that, he backtracked after kind of the damage was already done. And what sucks is that it was done on top of us already kind of, trying to reel and trying to survive off the PPI report. He gets on, I don't think they planned it properly, but he came on to Fox and he basically stated all this good stuff that we just read. It is what it is. So hopefully, as the news gets out, right, this just dropped recently. Hopefully, as the news gets out, maybe investors will kind of backtrack their selling operations and maybe understand that, this government, no matter what, they want to see Bitcoin thrive. They want to see Bitcoin thrive. And, it's going to regardless, but it would obviously do a lot better if we have support from, big partners and big players out there, obviously United States being the biggest one potentially. So another big thing that we're going to talk about here is that looks like Crypto Rover Lark, everybody is posting right now on Twitter that the Secretary or SEC Chair Atkins says the agency can move forward with blockchain regulations without waiting for congressional approval. So, I mean, this is big. This is big where, I mean, basically what we're looking for, I mean, there's people on the fence, right? Do you want regulations? Do you not? I feel like with the positive of the regulations is going to bring a lot of that scared money from the stock market into crypto, right? Because right now, you know how it is. The older money that's in, into the stock market, some of them are allocating through the ETFs, but a lot of them are like, I'm not getting near that stuff. There's no regulations. Well, this is why this would be potentially a good thing, because now you're basically putting in securities and regulations so, you can see a lot more trusted people, investors coming into the market and purchasing Bitcoin and whatever the case is, whatever they, want to buy. So in my opinion, I'm on the fence. I think it's good. They better not mess with DeFi though. Leave DeFi like the casino. Leave DeFi like the Wild West, right? We all know what we signed up for and we go through DeFi, so let it be. If they start messing with DeFi, right, I think it's going to take away the whole decentralized finance, thing that we have going on here. And that's what it's fun. You can go in there and lose everything, or you can go in there and become a millionaire in an hour. So leave DeFi alone. Just do your, your regulations on, the normal central exchanges and the big stuff, is what I think. Speaking of DeFi, where is this? Oh yeah, here. Look at this, guys. This right here, I think I'm the most happy about. The SEC pushes Solana's ETF decision to October amid growing investor interest in alternatives. Now, I already thought that it was pushed to October, but I'm just glad that they're bringing it back up, right? That we're literally less than 2 months probably away from hearing some kind of a decision for a Solana ETF. I think this is going to be very big. It's not going to probably move the whole market, but this would be very big for Solana, in my opinion. Now, when this drops, if you guys remember, and I say when this drops because it's going to happen. Solana's going to get an ETF. I'm sure XRP is going to get an ETF, and maybe a few other really big crypto projects are going to get it as well. But Solana, obviously, we're so bullish on Solana. When this drops, I'm anticipating that most likely we're going to see something like what we saw when the Ethereum ETF dropped. If you guys remember that, do you remember that? You don't, right? Because it wasn't really nothing going on. Like the ETF dropped for Ethereum, and it was just like I think the price went down. It really wasn't a big deal like Bitcoin's ETF, right? And that's rightly so, because everybody really wanted to see that the milestone was Bitcoin getting its ETF. Ethereum now is doing fantastic. It's having better days than Bitcoin, right? But it took a while. And when it initially dropped, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It's probably going to be the same, if not worse, for Solana when it drops, right? It's not. I don't think it's going to be. Potentially, us people that are in the market are going to be very hype about it. Maybe you'll go and buy some Solana, right, for long term, because you're like, hell yeah, this is great. Now you're seeing the stock market is going to have exposure towards Solana, right, through ETFs. But I think it's going to be probably a long term thing. Right? Maybe even to where this benefits it on the next bull cycle, years down the road. Because, when you're talking about Solana, most people that don't know anything about crypto, they still know about Bitcoin, and they've heard of Ethereum. Now, a lot of them have heard of XRP, right? But they don't really know what it is, what they do. They look at it as, and then I quote, these are what these people, because they come up to me all the time in the gym. They're like, so are they like coins? And I'm like, no, bro. I'm like, no, they're not freaking coins that you put in your pocket and stuff like that. And they're like, I just don't understand it. And I'm just cracking up. I'm like, I understand. I'm like, and I get into this whole, you're buying gold. How much gold do you have in your house? Well, I don't have, well, exactly. I'm like, do you freaking hold gold? Well, I have gold chains. All right, cool. But you're saying you're buying gold and silver. How much do you have at your house? How much are you holding? You're not, right? So I'm not saying it's the same exact thing, but you're sitting here buying or investing in stuff that you can't tangibly hold, right? It's almost essentially like that, but these have, cases behind them with either the financial system or either through, I don't even bring up meme coins because then they're going to be like, what the hell? It's running off a straight hype. I don't even bring that up. But I'm explaining to them, the beginner aspects of, Ethereum and DeFi and, Bitcoin, digital gold. Ethereum's like digital oil, essentially, and XRP and stuff like that. I'll explain. But the point of what I'm getting to is a lot of that money that's in the stock market, they heard of Solana, you know what I'm saying? But they don't really freaking know what Solana is yet. They don't know what it is yet. But down the road, they will, because, guys, if you've been around since 2020, even some of you guys probably before, but my God, how much this industry has changed in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, it blows my mind. In 2020, 2021, if we were to know that, during the election that they were going to be talking about Bitcoin, the markets would have went apeshit, right? And you go 4 years later, and Bitcoin crypto was a big thing during the election, right? Where do you think this is going to be in the next 4 years, 8 years, 10, 12, whatever? It's going to be very big. I mean, as far as like in the front pages of everybody's daily life, crypto will be, So I think down the road, Solana, ETF, all that stuff is going to be very bullish for Solana, but I don't think initially this is going to be something where it just drops and everybody in the stock market is just buying Solana, and Solana's ETF is pacing Ethereum and Bitcoin or anything like that. So I know that was a 20-minute rant, but that's literally, I mean, I'm sure that's probably what's going to happen, but I think down the road it's going to be nothing but perfect for Solana and any project. Think about it, any extra exposure you can get for these projects, is nothing but a plus in my opinion, especially when you're talking about money that's not even in crypto, right? You're tapping in now, like Bitcoin's ETF, you're tapping into the stock market. People that are in stocks and stuff like that, now they have exposure to potentially buying a Solana ETF. And what do the people, if it's going to be BlackRock or Fidelity or whoever is going to be, I forgot who all of them are trying to get the ETF approved, but it's the same folks, right? As they know down the road, there's going to be so much money going into these ETFs. But in order for them to hold these ETFs, they have to hold the projects, right? They have to have, we talked about this yesterday, for the ETFs for Bitcoin. By the end of this year, there's going to be 1.5 million Bitcoin locked in these ETFs. 1.5 million, that's 1.5 million Bitcoin that they have to hold because they're selling these ETFs. Same thing with Ethereum, and it's going to keep moving. Just like same thing for Solana. They're going to have to hold massive amounts of these projects when people are actually buying these ETFs. So we'll just read into this very lightly because I know we just went 20 minutes into this. So the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission has delayed its decision on multiple spot Solana ETF proposals from Bitwise, 21 shares, and Canary Capital. The regulatory announcement on August the 14th that it requires more time to evaluate the proposed rule changes extended the review period by the maximum allowable 60 days. So that's what blows my mind, is that I could have sworn we already knew that it was going to be in October. They're saying it was a delay. I don't know if this was supposed to be like maybe in September or something now, but from what we've read and what we've covered on this channel from the beginning of this year, it was always supposed to be in October. So if you can see right here, we're expecting a standard spot Solana ETF to be approved by mid-October at the latest, right? So you're talking 2 months from now, there's a big chance that we are going to see the Solana ETF get approved. So that right there, to me, like I said, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, especially if you own anything that is in Solana, right? And a lot of us on this channel, we're very, very big on Solana. I know Flip is trying to push everybody over to Base, but we're still holding Solana and Solana's DeFi. Craig, let's see here. Craig said Arrow is my biggest bag. Well, I got the same amount of Ondo, but it hasn't pumped yet. Bill said no Diddy on PPI. Rocky, what's going on, bro? Flip said forget about the 13,500. What are you talking about for Ethereum? What are you talking about, bro? 13,500 for Ethereum. Is that what you think we're running up to? It's pretty high, bro. I think we're gonna see. My prediction for Ethereum on this run, I think we're gonna see, because remember the top is 48, right? I think that we're gonna see. I'm calling it now. I think we're gonna see a 8 to potentially $11,000 Ethereum. That's gonna be my prediction. 8 to $11,000 Ethereum. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? You think we're gonna run up to 13, 14,000? I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but who knows? Oh, it's a Scarface quote. It is? Is that how much he was paying for those things? 13,500? Damn, no wonder he bought that mansion so quick. I gotta rewatch that. I haven't seen Scarface in so long. But if he was paying 13,000, holy crap. Some good prices right there. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about that stuff. Let's keep it moving here. Fear and Greed Index. Look at this. We're back into neutral. We're back into neutral, guys. We were slightly getting into greed, and it looks like we've bounced back into neutral. We've literally been hovering around this like 58 to like 62 area. And why do I bring this up is because this right here is kind of like an indicator of how the market right now feels as far as confidence wise. You know, right now you can see it goes to 100, 0 to 100, right? We're at about 60. So you can look at it as about 60% of the market is still very bullish. We have, you know, a small chunk of investors that are slightly not, I'm not going to say bearish, but they're maybe fearful that maybe, because I saw it all yesterday. Did we top out? Did Bitcoin top out? Was that the top? I literally had 2021 deja vu all over again. And I explained this. My members know this. We know that September is normally, during a bull run, not the best month. And back in 2021, in September, it started technically at the end of August of 2021. We had been pumping like crazy. Bitcoin was making all-time highs. And then Bitcoin dropped 25% at the end of August, going into the first week of September, going into the second week of September. But after that, we shot up like crazy. But I bring that up because imagine going through that during that time in September. And I'm going to pull up a Bitcoin chart real quick. But imagine going through that time in September where, if I can find a freaking chart that's not all, this one looks a little easier on the eyes. Imagine going through that time if you guys were around. It was brutal. It was brutal. And you know, the reason why I bring this up is because the same shit was happening all over YouTube. All over YouTube. Did Bitcoin topped out? That was it. That was it. and I speak of, this is right here. This was, if you look, now we've covered this plenty of times on our members only stream. So I know my members, this is nothing to them, but we've covered this. You know, you go back to July, right? And this is 2021, but look how similar it looks to now, right? July, you know, you go into July, August, right now, August, Bitcoin wasn't making technically all-time highs because we had seen a big drop, but Bitcoin was rallying again, running up, right? And then when we got to the beginning, it technically, this is the third week of August, we saw a drop. We bounced, made a new local high, and then that was it. At the first week of September, you can see we had a massive candle. This is on the daily, right? And this is on the 6th of September, and look at this. And one day, we had a 19% drop in Bitcoin in one day. Could you imagine If that was to happen right now, 19% in one day. And I bring this up because imagine what was going on in the community. It was over. That was it. Bitcoins are going back to zero. If you didn't sell, you're screwed. You might want to sell now. Everybody was terrified because then look, we saw that 19% drop and we kept dropping, right? This is now, we're on the third week of September. So if you look, this right here was September of 2021. But look what followed, right? We got into October and November, and this right here, this pump, the reason why this pump was so special was this was the last move towards the upside, right? We topped out at the end of November, but this was when we were in altcoin season. This right here was when all the alts just absolutely went parabolic and went crazy. And I bring this up because I felt like yesterday was kind of not same scenario. We saw Bitcoin drop about 5%, but I was seeing across the leaderboards and across the airwaves similar stuff like that, where people were like, like some people were like, oh my God, this is the end. I saw the intelligent people basically saying, this is typical. This is typical. This is what happens, right? We're still on such a massive run ahead that this is a gift that you're getting. And I know it's so gimmicky because we hear about it all the time. Oh, this dip, this is an opportunity. And people are like, bro, I don't have any more money for these opportunities, right? I understand. But the point of what I'm getting to is September normally isn't the best month during the 4-year cycle, but following is where all the money is made, right? So hold strong. We're still in such a great position. I mean, look how long it's taking me to scroll up to where we're at right now, right? We're in such a great position. I know, going from all-time highs to where we were at to where we're at right now, it's a 5-6% drop, but it really is nothing that we haven't seen before, right? We've seen far worse and things. If this is the drop that we're going to get, potentially, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin, like I said, is going to maybe run up to like, I personally, I go on the lower spectrum. And I've been saying that, what have I been saying, guys? You guys know I've been saying like 135, 145, somewhere around there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd probably have to move it up a little bit and wouldn't be surprised at some point in the next, few months, we're looking at a $140,000, $150,000 Bitcoin, right? From there, we'll see how it moves, if we're going to finally break into 200. But 150, I think, is a solid Bitcoin. And that's all we really need for your alts to really have that confidence and to see that FOMO coming in and retail money coming in. We don't need a $200,000 Bitcoin unless you're invested solely in Bitcoin. That's the only people that are really pushing for a $200,000 Bitcoin. We don't need it. I know there's Maxie's probably watching like, bro, I hate you right now, but it's true. We don't really need a freaking $200,000 Bitcoin right now. We don't need it. You guys can see we're at 120 and Ethereum's breaking out, and we're seeing just the beginning stages of altcoin season. We don't need a $200,000 Bitcoin, period. So, dominance. Look at that. What are we looking at? The daily? I haven't looked at dominance in a little while, but wow, dominance is not coming back up for right now. You can see, look where it's hitting its head. This level that we had marked, this is, remember, I've called this out how many times? The 59.8%, right? We've called this 59.88%. I was like, it doesn't sound correct. 59.88%, we called this. When it was up here, I said this is going to be probably a spot for some support, but at some point, it's most likely going to be resistance. And look at this. We bounced off of it, and now look. It looks like we've come up, and we've hit our head at that spot. That's fantastic. If we can hold this level, and honestly, if it cannot break above, our next big move that we're looking for as far as support on resistance is going to be down here at around 58.5%. You can see previously we've bounced off this area a couple times, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a spot for some kind of support. But we're getting into these numbers now where as we drop, it can find support where it wants. There's going to be a lot of money to be made during these times, right? When we start getting down to these numbers for dominance, I'm telling you guys, it is going to be a great time to be in your alts. It really is. It really, really is. And I'm not here just speaking, like trying to gas you up. You make money. I hope you make money, right? It's not going to change my life or anything like that, but I want to see us all win here, right? So, oops. Almost deleted a comment. Ricky, what's going on, bro? We start getting bullish, and Ricky's like, let me jump in here. Punk, let's see. Oh, Punk's calling for a $14,000 Ethereum. Bullish, what's going on, bro? Old. I've been imagining around 85, but hopefully it goes to 10. You know what's crazy, Old? That's exactly what I've been thinking. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised for whatever reason. 85 keeps popping up whenever I'm like thinking about a top for Ethereum. I don't like saying it because I know people don't want to hear that. They're like, oh, 85? What? You know, that's just only, you know, Ethereum doubling its freaking high, you know, pretty much. And imagine if Ethereum gets to $8,500, its market cap right now is at $540 billion at 4,500. So imagine if it gets up to 85, you're probably talking about an $800 to $900 billion market cap. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, where it's probably going to it's probably going to top out is that 1 trillion mark. I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum, gets to 1 trillion, which would put it around $10,000+. That 1 trillion is probably going to be a big spot for some resistance. But we'll see. Let's hear. Flip said, I have way more in Solana than Base do. Hold on. I have way more in Solana than Base. Do whatever, guys. All right. No need to get all snippy, bro. No need to get snippy, all right? Just kidding. Troy said, pump to the moon. Pump's been doing not too bad lately. Bullish said, is Milady a good buy right now? Let's find out. That's always the question around here. Is Milady a good buy? Is Milady going to pump again? I'm pulling up a new Milady chart. I can't do this anymore. We'll keep that Milady. Look at this. Look at this fib retracement back in August of 2023. Look at this. I like to come back to some of these charts and look back and be like, we were here. This is exactly where we were at. If you guys remember, do you guys remember how Milady really... Look at this fucking candle here. Do you guys remember how oh my God. Do you guys remember... Look at Milady's... Look at this right here. Do you guys remember why Milady did this? Who remembers why Milady literally went completely apeshit in like a day? Does anybody remember what really put Milady on the map? Twan, I'm going to pull up Cat with Mask in a minute. Hold on one second. Does anybody remember why Milady... Exactly. Old said it. Elon. Remember he changed his profile picture to an NFT of Milady, and Milady literally jumped to like $1 billion market cap, probably. I don't even remember what it went to. We can look it up. But in like a day, Milady like was on the map, and it was just like went absolutely crazy from like a $10 million market cap to like $1 billion in literally a day. I want to look and see market cap. Let's look at all time. There's no way. They don't have this on here. Oh, because it wasn't on TradingView yet. That's why I was like, there's no way. It wasn't on TradingView yet. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. But to get back to what the question was, let's get to a better chart here. So the question is Milady a good buy right now? I mean, this is what I would say, and I keep saying this. It's the same thing I keep saying with Milady, right? The market cap is so freaking low. You're at a $22 million market cap. The volume honestly doesn't look terrible at $5 million for such a low market cap. It's on pretty much every mid-tier exchange. It's an Ethereum-based project, right? We're anticipating that Ethereum's going to do well. You know, I personally, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, when everything is all said and done, Milady has a nice run, right? The thing is with Milady is that, you know, a lot of old school investors have moved on from the project because there's really nothing going on, right? There's nothing going on. The hype has kind of died out on the project, you know, for now. I've seen this happen plenty of times where either it becomes a good thing or it becomes a bad thing where, well for instance, Dog Elon. kind of the same thing, right? It's an old Doggy Lawn's been around for a lot longer, had the hype for a while back in 2021, and then it's kind of just like fizzled out to where it's there. It's still around. Here and there you'll see a pump, but that's about it. Like, is this thing ever going to come back up? We don't know, right? And that's the gamble with Milady. Milady's a little bit more relevant per se, but I would say the same thing. You know, it's a risk. I do think that during the top of this market, no matter what, it's going to, you know, be higher than what it is right now. But are the funds better used maybe for another meme coin that has the hype, right? Because remember, what moves a meme coin is hype. Hype is what moves a meme coin. Can hype come back to projects? Absolutely, right? But that's the gamble. You're getting it at a really good price, but is the hype going to come back for this project? I think that's the decision that you need to make on your own, because I can't tell you. We don't know. We don't know, right? So like I said, I do think that, you know, where it's at right now, $22 million markup, it'll easily probably double that. But is your money, you know, maybe better off somewhere else in another meme coin? Potentially, right? So that, I hope that answers your question, bro. I always am going to have respect for Milady. Like I always tell you guys, we built this channel around Milady. I want to see it do good. I really do. Obviously, I'm going to be honest with you guys. So that'll be it for Milady. Tuan asked, hold on. Country said, I had to split for a minute. There was a bald eagle in my backyard. Uh-oh, America. I'm in Indiana, so it's pretty big deal. Holy crap, that dude was huge. Hell yeah. You better put your dog in and your cat, because he's probably looking around like, I need to eat something around here. But, hey, bro, is that not America right there, bro? You need to go out with the Budweiser, chug that Budweiser while he's sitting in your backyard, and just be like, it's 10 o'clock where you're at. You're like, this is America right here. Cheers, bald eagle. And then he just flies away. Ah! Oh, yeah. I won't do that again, guys. I won't do that again. I'm sorry. All right. Old liked it. All right. Tuan. Let's talk, bro. Let's talk. So before we even pull up, Mask is the project that he wants to pull up on Solana. I have to say, DeFi right now hasn't been doing the best, right? And this is across the board. You know, I'm looking at, we have probably like 30 different projects right here, just 30 projects across the millions that are out there. You can see nothing really, not big movers, you know, not big movers, and majority of the list is in red, right? With that being said, Mask, she's not doing the best right now. She came off of a beautiful run. We called this out a while back. Well, I say a while back. It was literally like a week or two ago. We called it out, right? As far as this project, and she did what, a 4 or 5x off this bottom right here. Fantastic. But now we're in a cooling off stage where, like I told you guys last week, I had sold and took profits, locked in the profits, and as of now, especially at prices that we're at right now, we're under a penny again. I've been adding to the bag, right? Getting my position all back, as far as for Mask, because I still the same way. I believe this project is going to do well, right? You have a massive amount of holders, over 31,000 holders, right? The market cap is at $8 million. Right now, I will tell you, out of all the days, volume is probably the lowest that I've ever seen on Mask. It's at a little under 600,000 for the swap. I wouldn't say it would be that low for the whole project. We can pull it up here. What are we looking at? Mask. Volume's at around 2.8 million, which is still technically pretty low for Mask, because Mask usually does a $3 to $4 million every single day. And I know people are like, $4 million, that's nothing. You're talking about a freaking $8 million market cap, right? So that's a 50%, ratio from volume to market cap. That's very good, right? That's very good. So obviously there's a lot of traders still in the project. Right now we're just in a very big cool off period, but like I said, it's not strictly just for Mask. It's across the board, right? Across the board right now. So personally, I just been accumulating the project, ready to do the whole cycle over again. Hopefully the next run, we just keep running and running and running, because this project, like I said, has massive potential. I think the big thing that we're kind of waiting for with this is it getting, some kind of big listings. Because if as of right now, if you can see with central exchanges, it really hasn't. It got MEXC. What was this, like last month? But since then, there really hasn't been any other central exchanges, like mid-tier central exchanges, listed on the project as of yet. So that's, I think, the next thing, or the big thing that we're waiting for to kind of move it to the next level for Mask. So this project, like I said, Solana-based project, has a massive community. Like I said, has like literally 20,000 active users on their Discord and through Twitter and stuff like that. I mean, it has a massive community. This is something that you're looking for with meme coins, because that's the only thing that's going to drive these meme coins is hype, right? People, excited to hold the project, and people that are talking about it, community behind it that's like that believes in it. That's what you saw with Dogecoin. That's what you saw with Shiba. With all these different meme coins, we can go down a list. That is what moves these meme coins, and this project has that. So, like I said, obviously, very small market cap. Prices are going to fluctuate like crazy. If it fluctuates towards the downside like we're seeing right now, I take advantage of it. Literally right before the stream, I was adding to my bag for Mask. So, but other than that, like I said, as far as like prices to look for, I just think that where we're at right now anything where we're at right now, even if it keeps moving, is a great price as far as accumulation. So, but obviously, take that with a grain of salt, because it is a meme coin, small market cap. So, you always got to be careful. Is all I can say. Zbeck, same thing, right? We saw this yesterday, and I called this out. I said this probably a few days ago, if not over a week ago. Zbeck yesterday basically had their scheduled where they add 2% to their circulating supply. For whatever reason, I don't think that was the major reason, because the market was down already yesterday. But we saw, Zbeck came down to, what was it, 44, right? And what was I doing? Adding to my bag, because what did I do back here? I took profits, right? I took profits, and now I've been accumulating back again, right? Same thing as Mask, same thing with this, because these are two projects that I believe in, two far different projects. Obviously, Zbeck is going to be your project that obviously needs hype, but this is an asset that is basically pushing to be a crypto for a financial solution across the board worldwide, right? And we could go down the whole rabbit hole of what they've been doing, acquiring businesses, teaming up with MasterCard, all this different stuff, that they have over 50,000 users, from payroll to people using their debit cards and stuff like that. And they just keep adding and adding and adding, right? So the market was down yesterday. On top of that, it ended up being the day that they're adding 2% into their circulating supply. We saw the movement towards the downside, but since then, we've seen a nice little move back up, trying to come back to retest this 50 area. Looks like it got rejected as of now, but this is just a project that I don't worry about. I don't worry about, because down the road it's going to do great, right? It's going to continue to build, and they're going to continue to move. And this is a project, I think, more than even like a project like Mask that's a meme coin that's on Solana. I think a project like this that's on Solana, once that ETF gets approved, this is going to be a project that probably will benefit from it. Just because now you have so much money flying into Solana. A project like this that has a utility behind it, it's for a purpose. It's not just a meme coin. This is actually trying to solve solutions as far as with payment solutions and stuff like that across the world. I think this project has so much potential. So 48 right now, not a bad area to accumulate. Obviously, looking back, the 44 was a lot better. As far as accumulating the project. For now, like I said, given that the market, Bitcoin has actually continued to drop. Look at that. While we're talking, Bitcoin has actually dropped. Let me see if there's anything going on right now that's see if there's anything else, but let's see here. Alert. USDT Tether just minted on Ethereum. 100,000 million, $1 billion worth of Tether was just minted on Ethereum. Hell yeah, that's a lot. Looking to see if there's anything big going on, why the market is continuously dropping as of right now. As of 22 hours ago, nope, we're not looking for that. We're looking for now, right now, what's going on. Oh, Trump is on its way to go meet up with Mr. Putin right now. Mr. Putin. I wonder if the markets are like worried about that. What's the stock market doing right now? The stock market's down slightly as well. There's red across the board, guys, right now. Even the dollar's down. Even the dollar's down right now. Gold is up. Okay, now I'm starting to see. The whole market's down. Gold is up. That usually means that across the board, for whatever reason, investors are scared for something, right? Because normally when you see the stock market, if the stock market's doing okay, but Bitcoin's down, all right, it's a crypto thing. Vice versa, right? Oh, it's a stock market, crypto's doing good. But when you're seeing it all down and gold's actually in the green, it tends to be, and even the dollar is down, right? Tends to be that the market is scared right now. I don't know if they're scared about the freaking. I don't see why the Russia meeting would be anything, but I don't see anything that's going on right now that we. Nothing. At all. What is this break-in? Trump said he had a wonderful talk with president of, I don't even know, is it Belarus? Yeah, ahead of Putin meeting. I wonder if this is what's moving, why the markets are in the red today. Because, I mean, there's really nothing else bearish right now that's like, you know, unless it's like that we just can't see it. But there's nothing else that's really bearish right now for the market. Ay. Damn. All right, nothing, guys. I don't see anything. So where are we at with Bitcoin? Bitcoin is continuously dropping as of right now. We're at 117,092 as of now. So unfortunately, we're looking for next spots that we're going to have some solid support for Bitcoin if we continue to move towards the downside. Looks like it's going to be around 116.6 is going to be the next really big spot. You can see we've kind of consolidated around that area. So that's going to be your next big spot that we're looking for as far as support, unfortunately. Unfreaking-fortunately. But, I mean, if you really look back and we look at the grand scheme of things here, this is on the daily. It looks shitty. It really does look shitty. But look where we're bouncing right now. So I did bring in our moving averages, and you can see this. I guess you want to call it orange or light orange, yellow. It looks like we're finding some support at the 20-day moving average right now, which is very bullish. Very bullish. Hopefully that 20-day will hold. You know, it basically is at 117,040 as of right now. If we can hold that 20-day, I think we're going to be all right. I mean, even if we break it and we come down to the 50, you know, it is what it is. But the 50-day that's a decent move towards the downside. We're talking about 115,000 at this point. Oh, Flip, my bad, bro. I'm just looking at the chat here. Pull up Snake. Let's pull it up. She's not looking bad. You know why Sneak's doing good, right? Because Cardano's doing good. So, let's see here. So, I mean, you're obviously on a nice move towards the upside for Sneak. Looks like you guys broke above your 0.5 fib right here. You can see 0.5 somewhere around that 48 level. This has been an area where you've come up and hit your head. You bounce right out of our support level. I haven't looked at this chart in a while. Support level that we had marked here at the 29. Nice little bounce. And it looks like you guys have so far Looks like you came up and tested the 382 at around that 60 area. So pretty bullish right there, bro. Hopefully you can hold support at this 0.5, which is around the 49, right? If you can hold some support at this 49, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys continue to keep retesting that 59.60 area, which is the 382. Once you guys break that 382, bro, you have the 236 right in your horizon, dude. And you already know how the 236 is. You start talking about the 236, you're talking about all-time highs potentially happening, but the market's got to be doing good as well. SNCC's not going to continue to run. Cardano's holding up right now, but it's not going to continue to keep running if the markets are, if we're going to see, are we going to see the drop that we're anticipating for September? Are we going to see it? Are we seeing it now? I think that those are questions that we need to ask, right? Are we seeing those drops now? We don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out, but we knew that a drop is coming or is here either towards the end of this month, starting in September, or maybe right now. Maybe we're, like we've been saying, maybe we're ahead of cycle. We don't know, obviously, until after the fact. So, but SNCC doesn't look good, doesn't look bad, bro, at all. Ricky said we're down. There's just a few days ago. Wait, we were down there just a few days ago. Yeah, for Bitcoin. I mean, we were literally. What is this? Yeah, the 10th. So yeah, just about 4 or 5 days ago, we were. I mean, bro, if you really think about it, if you go back, literally, not even 2 weeks ago, but about 10 days ago, I mean, we technically went down to 112, right? We bounced right at our 50-day moving average. You see that bounce right there? So, I mean, you can see how it goes. Like I said, if we can hold, if we don't even need to come back to retest this 50-day and we can hold the 20, that'll be very bullish. I know right now it seems you're like, bro, it just seems like it's not. It is. It is very bullish if we can hold this 20-day moving average. So, the only thing I can say is we're going into the weekend. Volume's probably going to be low, right? Hopefully, what I notice is that if the markets stay bullish by the end of today, before the actual stock market ends, if we're bullish, we'll see a little bit of a retracement, right? You'll see where the markets will kind of, like, if let's just say we're at 117.4 right now, and it's about to be 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the stock market's about to close, you'll usually see a little get up where we'll probably run up to like 119, right? I'm just thinking hypothetically, we see that a lot before the markets close for the weekend. Maybe we don't, right? Hopefully we do, because we're going into the weekend. There's going to be low volume. So, Ricky, you know how I always say about the weekends and volume, right? It's whoever, if the Bears are out during the weekend, there's no combating them or competing with them, because there's no volume. It's not like people are eating up the dip, and most people are just not buying during the weekend, so it can go either direction, right? So, Punk, appreciate the $2, bro. He said, "Can we look at Mind? Is that kid friendly? Mindfac? What are you into, bro? Mindfac? What is that?" Is real quick, Punk, what ecosystem are we looking at? Is it on Base or is it on Ethereum? Whoa, where are we at here? It's an ETH. What's up with this guy? Matt Fury. Remember we pulled up another project and it said it was a project by Matt Fury? Who is Matt Fury? Why does his name keep popping up? We looked at another project the other day and it was like, I forgot what, wasn't it like Base? Or not Base, wasn't it like freaking Brett on Solana, and it was like by Matt Fury? Is he like somebody that just drops a lot of tokens? I wonder. So with this project, obviously Ethereum-based project, you can see market cap's at around 8.5 million. Liquidity is locked in at around 451,000 thousand. Doesn't look bad. It's been out for about a month. It's literally about to hit a month mark. So I mean, it's doing relatively good. Volume at around 250,000 with 248 different wallets trading. Excuse me. So I mean, the numbers, they don't look bad. Obviously, volume, we would like to see volume a little bit higher, but it's still not in a where I'd be too worried as of now. So with the project, looking at the fib retracement as of now, I mean, it looks pretty bullish, to be honest. It looks pretty bullish. You can see you guys are coming off of highs that you pretty much have tested multiple times, but you're holding the 236 right here at the 1.1 cent mark, right? So, I mean, this literally is textbook right here. A nice move towards the upside. It keeps coming up and retesting a fib retracement, you know, either whether if it's support or resistance. It looks actually like a good chart. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It looks like a great bullish chart. So if you guys can keep this kind of a upward momentum running, staying above the 236, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys easily break above this the top of the fib retracement, which is your all-time high at around 1.5 cent. So I mean, the chart looks great. Personally, I would the 236, keep an eye out. It's around the 1.1 cent mark. That is an area that you guys are holding as of now. You can see you've pretty much, if you haven't bounced exactly on it, you've come really close to the 236. Like I said, the 1.1 cent, that's going to be a spot to hold. If it does break below, if you're long term and you're like, I want to, you know, this is a project I want to long term on, keep an eye out for the 382, which is going to be right under that penny mark. If you guys break below a penny, that might be a good spot to accumulate on the project if you're long term. But if it holds this 236, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys you're talking about an all-time high being broke here. I mean, you're not far from it at all where you're at. Looks like where you're at right now, you're about 25% away from an all-time high. But with a small market cap like that, I mean, that's just a hop, skippy away, right? Let's see here. It's an ETH coin. Old said most were rug pulls from this guy. And then Punk says, wait, he's a visual artist. Old said Fury, not related to the coin, of course, but he's a cartoon artist. Old, I had never heard of him prior to crypto. Bro, it's like not every, but for the last couple of days we pulled up like you know, some of these meme coins, and it's excuse me, it seems like we see his name popping up on different ecosystems too, not just for Ethereum, but he was on a project on Solana as well. Bro, I will tell you, because I'm, you know, you guys know I'm on Pump Fund and stuff like that. There are some devs, they make multiple projects, and, you know, it's not even that they rug pull them or anything like that. They make projects. The project runs, you know, it gets a community, it runs, and then, you know, after, because every project, if it doesn't get listed on like the bigger exchanges, it fizzles out, right? It'll fizzle out. People make their money. Some people will lose, you know, and then the devs go and make another project. It's not like they're like rug pulling necessarily, but they're just, that's what they do. They have a big following behind them. So whenever they make a project, people follow and they jump in on the project. Early investors obviously make more money than others, you know, and there's always going to be winners. There's always going to be losers. You know, it's just how it is. AI said, what's up? My recent play is CD Panda, Coinbase's mascot on base currently has done a 10x. Hell yeah. And Ricky said, whoa, that's a nice chart there. Ricky's sitting there licking his chops like, that looks good. What's your name? Mindfac? Nice. AI, the project, what is it called? Coinbase, what is it? CD Panda? Let's pull it up and see. CTO, Community Takeover. It's been out for about 5 days, so it's a relatively new project. Market cap's at 400,000. Liquidity's at 80,000. Volume's not too bad. Obviously, 5,000 people, 5,000 different wallets trading. So I mean, it looks good. I think this project's kind of still running off the newbie gains that we always call it, right? Where I mean, it's a new project. It's trending on base right now. You know, you can see it's trending on Uniswap on the DEX at number 4 trending. So I mean, right now it's gonna have those newbie gains. So if you see any kind of corrections, it'll easily get eaten up, most likely, as long as it stays relevant, right? Small market cap, so you know this could be a mover. You can see support level for now. I'm not even gonna put up a fib retracement because it's such a new chart. But support level you do have is around that 1099 area, with I think 1, 2, 3 zeros in front of it is your support level for now. If it does, see a big retracement. But I mean, the project doesn't look bad. If you're able to get around that support level, on some of these runs, it's a solid move right there. Excuse me, 500% move from that level to the top of what it just made. So definitely not a bad little move. Bitcoin's trying to hold that level, guys. She's trying. What's Ethereum doing? That's what we're more focused on. Ethereum broke below a level that we didn't want to see. She's at 44 right now. Sheesh. Looking to see if maybe this support level was supposed to be lower, but it looks like I have the support level at a proper spot. Sheesh. No problem, Punk. I got you, brother. So Old actually knows about Fury. Okay. Craig, what's going on, bro? We're still live, bro. We're still live. We're still live. We are. Let me see. Did we cover everything? Bitcoin sinks, falling hotter. Bassett crashed the market. Solana's ETF. Let's see if there's any updates on according to Lark, my boy Lark, Solana failed to put in a daily close above the recent swing high at around 205 on its current move. Watch for a bounce off the 200-day EMA and the uptrend line shown on the arrow at 180. James Wynn. Yeah. This guy's still around. Look at Crypto Rover. Look, he said, "Stop selling your Bitcoin." I crack up when people get like that. Like they're like, "Oh, okay, all right, sorry, let's stop selling." Oh my gosh, that's freaking hilarious. Bro, there's really nothing. I'm literally scouring through, and I'm trying to figure out like what's the scare about right now, for the markets. There's really the only thing I can think of is that the whole market, because it's not just crypto, it's across the board, because of these freaking the Russia meetings. Is that it? Craig said, "What's the turbo chart looking like? My only meme since I bailed on Maniki." Damn, you bailed on Maniki, bro? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Real quick, a project that I think is going to do really well, that might be a good play right now. I was going to keep it for the members, but we're here, so let's just talk about it. Actually, one of the members brought this up when we were doing trenches. I don't know if you guys remember, we actually pulled this project up when it was down here. Monkey. This project actually not a bad little project. The market cap's at around 2.4 million. Liquidity's locked in at 300. I think right now with this little dip that we're having, this project, I think we might see a big bounce for this project. It has a big community behind it as well. This is a Solana-based project. Look at this freaking candle right here. Absolutely crazy. This thing went up to 2 cents. That's crazy. But yeah, been kind of watching it just because the market cap has gotten pretty low. Maybe keep an eye on volume. Still seems pretty relevant for a project that's been out for 2 months. Like I said, it's on the Solana-based network, so you can get it, through a swap, either through Pump Swap, or Jupiter. But I would keep an eye out on this. Monkey. Is it Monkey or is it Monkey? Right? You tell me. I don't know. Monkey. But it seems like it would be. Monkey. Monkey, get over here. Turbo. Oops, that's Toshi. I didn't mean to grab that one, but we're here. Toshi's holding up pretty freaking well, actually, on base. Still holding up pretty well. Where's this damn Turbo at? It was literally just right here. There it is. Turbo on Ethereum. Turbo's market cap is pretty low. I mean, just now we were looking at what Toshi. Toshi's market cap's higher than freaking Turbo. That's crazy. I want to see Turbo. I mean, that's not bad, bro. Turbo's market cap's under 300 million. The volume is at almost $40 million for the day. And this project is trading on Binance and Coinbase and everything else that you can get listed on. I mean, it's made it to the big leagues with a small market cap. This might be a move. If I had an Ethereum like wallet where I could just buy it off of Uniswap, this might be a move. Turbo. I know Flip's probably over there screaming to his scream. There he is. There's Flip. Flip's always talking about Turbo. This might be a move right here, given that it's on Binance and Coinbase, right? Market cap is pretty freaking low. This could be an easy $1 billion market cap right here, in my opinion. Not a bad little move. I have to keep an eye on it. But with this project, I mean, the way it's looking right now is, it's obviously having a downward day just because the whole market seems to be down right now. Bitcoin is currently testing the 20-day moving average as we speak right now. It's nerve-wracking, guys. I'm just kidding. So with Turbo, all I can say, bro, is that if we're going to maybe see a dip, look out for this 3170 area. This is going to be around the 786. I would say anything around that 786 or below is a solid buy, in my opinion, not financial advice. So anything below this 31 or below, it has support at around the 14, that's a big drop from where it is right now. But anything below the 786, which is around the 31 or below, in my opinion, is probably a good buy for Turbo. It's only been over here a few times, right? You can see right here, shot up, right here, shot up. If it comes back down here, I'm sure it'll shoot up again, right? So a nice little accumulation zone. Anything below the 786 at around that 31 on Turbo. Flip. I was gonna say you're talking about the Fury guy. I already knew when you brought him up. I was like, he must be like 10 minutes behind on the stream. Ricky said, "Flip is flipping." Oh, he said Matt Fury is a famous comic book artist creator. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I wonder if he's... Oh, you know why? You know what they're doing? They're probably making a lot of these meme coins, and they're saying buy Matt Fury, because he probably is the one that's made... He's the artist that's made, maybe from one of the comic books or whatever, and they're just using that character for a meme coin, is what it is, right? Or is he actually a dev dropping meme coins, is my question. Because like I said, I feel like as of late we've been seeing him around, or his name around, on multiple ecosystems. You know? Let's see here. AI said, I just can't sell when I know I should, but I know everything will fly soon, so I'm just holding everything now. I hear you, bro, but listen, AI, not financial advice, right? But this is something that we always talk about. This is something that we literally bring up in the members only courses, or not courses, but streams. We don't have courses, but we have streams. And that's like something that we literally have a whole hour segment of selling, right? Not selling right now, but at some point you have to have that confidence to be able to hit that sell button, and take profits. Whether it's because the project just jumped up 100, 200% and you're just taking profits to reposition yourself, or we've topped out in the market and you need to lock in those profits, right? Don't be stuck holding the bag when everything is done and over with, bro. I'm telling you that right now, not financial advice. Base turbo makes more when OG turbo is moving. Double your money. Cortex Vortex is his latest book. Old said, yeah, I can't understand that. If these are copyrighted artwork, and of course they are, then why would central exchanges risk involvement by listing them? I mean, that's true. That's true. But in DeFi, obviously you can do whatever the hell you want, right? In DeFi, you can do whatever the hell you want, and that's what's great about it. But long term, that's smart that you think about that. Like, can a central exchange actually, be able to list a project that maybe has a copyrighted character, right? That's a good question. I'm sure they would have to figure out the legalities on that. Let's say the devs use one of his characters, and let's just say the project, is up to $1 billion, and they want to get on, bigger exchanges. I'm sure they would need to probably pay copyright prices or costs or whatever it is to Matt Fury, and also get the approval of being able to list that. And I'm sure he would probably get, royalties from the project as well. Something like that. Ricky said, are you talking about scale? No, I haven't brought it up, bro. Are you talking about it? You see how Ricky transitions? He's like, bro, are you talking about scale? No? Oh, you're not. Well, bring it up. Now we are. Are you talking about that? No. Well, you should. You should be talking about it. What do you got going on over here, Ricky? What do you got going on over here, buddy? Huh? You got to keep an eye out on this guy, bro. I'm telling you. You got to keep a close eye on Ricky. What the hell is all this macro stuff that's popped up? FOMC minutes. That's coming out on the 20th. That's not messing with the markets right now. Building permits. What is this? This is on the 15th. This is today. Michigan's consumer retail sales month over month. Was this the reason why? Retail sales month over month. Let's pull that up real quick. Hold on, Ricky. We're going to look at that real quick. U.S. retail sales month over month, which measures the month over month percentage change in total retail sales within the U.S. economy, is currently at 0.65%. This figure is higher than both the previous months of negative 0.99 and the long-term average of 0.37. The next update is scheduled for, that was today. So it measures the month-over-month percentage change in total retail sales. And let's see here. So it looks like it came in down, which means people aren't buying shit. Is what it looks like. Let me just, because this just brings me up to, we forgot to pull this up at the beginning. Oof, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. This has been fluctuating. The FOMC meeting the probability of us getting a reduction in interest rates. Remember, just 3 days ago, we were at 99.9%. We've dropped down 9% already in the last 3 days. At this rate, it's going to be at 100% over here in the next 33 days, right? So, I mean, we're still in a solid place. We're at 90.8% of the market is anticipating some kind of a reduction in interest rates, but this is fluctuating. It's fluctuating fast, too. Just throwing that out there. Scale. What's going on with this project, bro? Nice little move, obviously, towards the upside. We're looking at the 1 hour. This was as of the 12th. Nice little 170% move in the last 3 days. So it looks good. I mean, I don't know anything about this project, but what I will say, as the days go, and Ricky tells us to bring up these projects, and you see that they've jumped up like 100%. It's like two things. This is a project, if you were in it back here and it shoots up 170%, not financial advice, but you take profits, right? But even if you're long term, you take profits, not financial advice. And the reason why I do that, my opinion, because you just saw a 170% move in the last 3 days. What do you think is going to follow behind, most likely, right? Most likely there's going to be a nice correction, and you can jump right back in, take those profits, and use the same liquidity and reposition yourself and get even more of the project if you're long term. This is what I point out all the time about these pumps, if they happen daily or if it's in a 2-day span and it's up hundreds, 200+%, take the profits because it's most likely going to retrace, right? And you can basically do it all over again whenever it pops back up again. Other than that, the first thing that I was going to mention is these right here are signs right here. When you start seeing projects just sporadically popping up 100, 200% daily, and I don't know anything about this project, if anything is happening, maybe there's something behind the scenes that's happening for this, or it could just be out of nowhere, people just start FOMOing in on the damn project and it starts spiking. When you start seeing shit like that, that's when you know you're either in altcoin season or you're getting real close when you start seeing shit like this happen, right? So like I said, I don't know anything about the project. We can pull it up and see if there's anything going on, but trading on Binance, Coinbase, market cap's at 242 million. Google acquires 8% stake in Bitcoin. Let me see here. Google acquires 8% stake in Bitcoin miner TeraWulf. Does this have anything to do with scale? I'm thinking maybe. Maybe. It's a gaming. This doesn't look like a gaming project, though. This particular scale. Hey, pup. Hold on one second. This, from reading what it says, Scale is a blockchain network designed for power decentralized applications for dApps with zero gas fees, high performance, and limited scalability. Scale operates at a network of EVM compatible. Interconnected layer 1 blockchains referred to as scale chains. These individual chains can be specific to a single dApp or shared amongst similar dApps. Scale chains are modular and offer pooled security, dynamic scalability, and tailored resource allocations, enabling developers to deploy dApps with unmatched flexibility and user experience. That's a selling. That whoever put that right there, that was a selling bitch. I'm almost sold on that. Now, Ricky, you got to bring these projects up before they run up 170%, all right, bro? Bullish said, Crip, do you stand the entire time you're streaming? I do, bro. I do. I'm literally, look, I'm standing. Remember I told you guys what I redid my whole my whole streaming thing, instead of me just sitting down all like clicking a mouse, I stand. I have a whole standing platform. I have multiple screens around me, right? So I like to stand, bro. I like to stand like when I stream and stuff like that. I don't know. I like to be, like I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just more hype, with me standing. There are some times when I'm streaming and I'm like, I kind of want to sit down. You'll see, like, I kind of will slouch down a little bit here and there just because I'm like, I've been standing, we've been streaming for an hour and a half. I've been standing and I just got back from the gym. So I don't know if I'm still all pumped up from the pre-workout or what, but, we're here. We're here. Flip with the $10 super chat, bro. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much, dude. Flip is the man. Appreciate that, bro. Flip, did you see I was we were talking about Turbo a little while ago? I think you might be onto something there, bro. With Turbo, because like I said, I was saying this earlier, the market cap is freaking low for Turbo. I didn't know it was that small for Turbo. And I mean, they're trading on Binance and Coinbase. That might be a move right there, bro. That might be a move. Did you sell your Turbo, bro? Because you haven't brought it up in a little while. Ricky, you brought that project up before. I mean, have you? You probably have, bro. Craig said he's got a medium-sized bag of Turbo. I might have to check it out. I mean, the reason why I'm not like literally right now not buying Turbo is because you guys know how I am. Like, I like to get into shit. Like, this is an Ethereum-based project, right? I don't have any Ethereum wallets. Well, I do. I haven't used them in a while. And just trading on Ethereum is just like, it's like freaking, it's expensive. So it's just like, I've done it a couple times and I've told myself, I'm like, bro, love Ethereum. I ain't trading DeFi on that shit. So that's what sucks. Because I'm definitely not buying this on freaking crypto.com. I do have Coinbase. I do actually have Coinbase with some liquidity on it. I was just looking at that yesterday. I opened up my Coinbase and I was like, oh shit. Like, I got liquidity in here. I could literally, be making some plays. I haven't used Coinbase in so long either. I'll have to check it out. Oh, it's your second biggest bag? Hell yeah, bro. The only reason I ask is you haven't asked about Turbo in a while. So that's the only reason why I ask. Ricky said FWOG. FWOG. FWOG's actually killing it. $46 million market cap. I'm looking at the volume, bro. At $2.5 million in volume. That's damn good on Pump Fund. That's what you like to see, bro. Especially at times like right now. Damn, FWOG's been out for over a year, too. That's crazy. I mean, looking at where we're at right now on FWOG, I mean, I personally, like, if I was to buy in on FWOG, it would need to come down to this 2.5 cent mark or below is what I would be looking for. I'm not saying that right now is not a bad time, but I personally, just because the market cap's a little bit higher, for my liking for right now, like I would probably look for a 2.5 cent. That's where we bounced at last time. I'd look for a 2.5 cent or below on FWOG to potentially purchase. And this is a project that I wouldn't mind buying in because it's on Solana, right? I can do a quick swap for pennies on the dollar and buy a big bag of FWOG, That's why you gotta love DeFi. You really gotta love DeFi. Craig said I've been holding. Oh, hold on, Ricky. Hold on, I'm so far behind here. Shout out to Flip again for the $10. I do appreciate you, brother, and Punk as well Punk through the $2. I appreciate that, dude. Old said I got a standing sitting desk for my main computer. It's nice. It is, bro. I can drop everything and sit down, right? Like, and my screens are on like arms, right? They're on arms where I can literally move them however I want as well. But I like standing. I just feel like it keeps me up, you know. And I'm all like, oh, let's look at Turbo today. Let's see here. Craig said, I got me a medium bag of Turbo. Flip said, wait until the Robin Hood list. I mean, shit. I wouldn't be surprised. Ricky said, bro, we've been talking about Turbo for months. I know you guys have brought it up. I just said he hasn't brought it up in a little while, is what I'm saying. Like, it's been a few weeks since I feel like I've heard anybody say, pull up Turbo. Wait, Ricky, is Fwog the Beast? Is that a different project, or are you just saying Fwog is a beast? Craig said I'm second guessing my B3 chart. How long has this been out for? Am I this looks really weird. It's not telling me where how long it's been out for, unless it's like in my face and I don't see it. It's really odd. I mean, so a couple things, Craig, that I'm going to be very blunt. The volume doesn't look bad, right? $200,000 in volume. The market cap, 78 million. Liquidity over, it's got 1.7 million. So I mean, the numbers don't look terrible. Obviously, I mean, I understand why you feel, because the charts don't look the best, right? The charts do not look the best. You were on a nice little move here, but it looks like that shit broke. And then it gave you that final confirmation when it came back up real quick and hit its head at the trend that this thing was probably going to continue to move towards the downside. I mean, bro, I know where you're at right now. If you probably sell, you're probably selling at a loss. You know, I mean, I think that's just something you're going to have to kind of figure out. You know, is that going to be something, if you have something else in mind that maybe you feel like you might be able to get the gains, or if you want to stick it out. I mean, the numbers don't look terrible for the project. You know, this is a base project. I don't know. I think, honestly, this probably will, I don't know anything about the project, right? The chart doesn't look good. You know, I just feel like whenever you see something like this, it's like you always feel like right when you sell, you come back in a week and this thing's going to start popping up. You know, so I feel like you've been holding for this long. I would, not financial advice, but maybe just kind of just like see where it goes. You know, look, you're going to be getting in some real fine trading because you have support at around this 24 area, right? 20 is 24, but you also have the trend line that you're basically this downward trend that you're hitting your head on. So I mean, this could easily, I mean, this is just hypothetically trying to give you the hopium where you're kind of trading in a real fine, and then, you know, at some point it shoots up, right? Or trades in a real fine area and then it shoots down. Yeah, Craig, I'll give you this. You got a 50-50 chance that this is going to go up or go down, right? I'm going to give you the 50-50. Nah, but hopefully the first scenario runs. I mean, it's been moving down. So the numbers seem to be like that. It's a solid project as far as number wise. So hopefully it plays out for you, bro. Greg said 50-50 is great. There we go. I always crack up when I go into some channels and they're like, I don't know. I mean, it either can move up or it can move down. You're like, yeah, no shit. Like, we know that. I don't know. It could probably move up. I mean, it could move down, you know. I mean, what other direction is it going to move? Oh, you're not really down that much right now? I mean, if you're at a small loss, I don't know. Like I said, the only time I feel confident on, like, because I mean we all get in these scenarios, but if the only way I feel confident about doing something like this is if there's another play available, right? If there's another play available that I'm like, this is moving, it's relevant, something like that, then I don't mind taking the little loss because I'm probably going to get it back and some on another project. But if you don't really have anything lined up or you don't know, then, you gotta figure it out. I mean, yeah, I know you brought it up plenty of times, bro. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it seems like you're pretty bullish on it, so hopefully it plays out for you. I think base is going to do really well, so I don't really worry about the ecosystem at all. So let's just do a quick recap here, because I know Ricky's probably like, bro, I have to get going here, dude. So as far as Bitcoin right now, it looks like we're so far really trying to hold this 20-day MA moving average right now. This is the 20-day moving average on your daily. You can see we're trying to hold it. Technically, it's at around 117,037 for right now. So hopefully we can hold it. It is Friday, going into the weekend. Anything can happen, right? I say it's 50-50 chance we can go up or we can go down. I'm going to start saying that for everything. No, but no matter what, just remember what we got, these next few months, right? There's always going to be dips short term and stuff like that. If you really need that confidence, when in doubt, zoom out, right? When in doubt, zoom out. I think we're going to be okay. We kind of been anticipating some kind of a drop at some point was going to be coming. Is this it? Or we don't know really what we have ahead of us. But like I said, the markets really aren't looking terrible as of now. If anything, just taking advantage of some of these plays and just adding to the bag, right? So remember when you vote. I remember when I voted. It was a great day. Got my little sticker and said, Crip, you voted. Said, look at TRWA. All right, bro. I'll look it up real quick. I'm guessing we're looking at an Ethereum-based project. That's what we're looking at here, bro. Looks solid. $100 million market cap. It's trending on the DEX, number 6. It's been out for a little over a month and a half. Liquidity looks good. Market cap volume looks fantastic. About $4 million in volume. I mean, the project doesn't look bad at all. Doesn't look bad at all. So pulling up a fib retracement real quick. You can see you did break below your 236. You do have some support in between the 382 and the 236. You can see you guys have bounced off it already at around that 1.3 cent, 1.4 cent area. So as long as that holds, bro, you probably would see, as long as that holds, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys start coming up and retesting the 236 again, which is around the 1.5, 1.6 cent area. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys come back to retest that area at some point if this 1.3, 1.4 area holds, right? If it doesn't, you have the 382 at around 1.2, 1.3 cents that would need to hold if you guys are going to stay bullish. So, but I mean, like I said, the numbers don't look bad. If I was accumulating this project, I would probably, with patience, I would say around the 0.5 area, which is around that 1 cent or below, would probably be an ideal area to accumulate on the project. So, but doesn't look terrible. Not a bad project at all. Before we go, I just want to check. Mask is getting hurt. I don't even want to pull up my portfolio right now. Holy shit, other than the add to the bag. We bounced off a support level right now. Sheesh. How bad is it out here? Is it just mask or is it? I mean, I guess it's across the board. Myro's retracing. Yeah, it's across the board. It is what it is. No problem, brother. No problem, dude. Listen, guys. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic Friday. At the end of the day, guys, it's Friday. You're alive, right? Go take yourself out to dinner tonight. Go get some drinks. Don't drive, but go enjoy yourselves. The charts will be here when we get back this weekend. Obviously, we will be live this weekend. We have some members-only streams that we got to take care of, and we'll do a couple of regular streams as well. But with that, like I said, just this weekend, we don't know exactly what it's going to bring. We're going to have low volume, most likely coming in for this weekend. So hopefully by the end of today, we can get a little bit of a pickup because I'm expecting probably a very boring weekend ahead as far as just price movement. So we'll see how it plays out. But other than that, guys, that is it. Be safe out there. If you guys are watching this after the fact later on, welcome from the past. How are you doing? Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. We did great on the last stream yesterday. We did fantastic. So make sure you guys, please, hit that like, hit the subscribe. I'll see you guys this weekend. All right, guys? Thank you.